even with that, I would emphasize that it's completely okay to not know what you really want to do at this point. It's about exploring, it's about trying out. It's very possible that you try out something and it doesn't work out, and then the fact that you committed to it and learned something out of it will help you figure out. But unless you go out there and do things, one is not able to figure out what they want to do. I mean, I often refer to a book by Reid Hoffman, the founder of LinkedIn, which is called The Startup of You. And he compares an individual with a startup. I mean, as individuals, we often don't know exactly what we want to do. And even if we do, there's no guarantee that it'll work out, very similar to how it shapes in a startup. But the success of a startup kind of builds on the fact that one is out there and trying out few things, and then understanding what is working and what is not, and doubling down on what is working, and kind of quickly moving ahead from or moving out of what is not working. So as individuals, we need to continuously do that, especially in the age of AI, where the industries are changing fast, the markets are changing fast, and the needs of the markets are changing fast. So it's more about learnability, it's more about learning fast than knowing exactly where you will be in 5 years or 10 years, because you will be able to adapt if you have been able to develop the right skill set.
All right. I have a very special guest joining me today. Joining me is Prashant Tibrewal. Prashant is an entrepreneur with about 15 years of experience in the education sector, and he has mentored over 3,000 students and mid-career professionals at different stages of their careers. Prashant is an alum of the prestigious MIT Sloan School of Management, and he also serves as a designated interviewer for MIT's undergraduate applicants from India. Recognized as the Forbes featured international education expert, Prashant extends his influence beyond individuals. He serves as a trusted advisor to numerous national and international organizations, and he holds esteemed positions such as Industry Advisory Board member at the Bennett University, which is a part of Times Group, and an academic advisor at GISB Business School, and a former director on board at the AIGAC in the USA. Prashant, it's such a pleasure to have you with us today.
Thanks, Devesh, and thanks for the elaborate introduction. Look forward to talking to you.
Superb. So let's straight away jump into questions. Prashant, please take us through the journey of your life. You have had some tremendous experiences while studying at MIT, and then also after that, you have been into education for 15 years. And then tell us how these experiences help you build Circle and alumni.
Right. Yeah, thanks for that. It's been interesting journey of over 15 years in the education space. Primarily because when I started my career, it was the education as a career happened by chance, where I was myself preparing for my own CAT exam and everything, and then that's where I joined an organization called IMS, which is into CAT and other competitive exam trainings. That's where I got to work with students. I mean, the goal was, of course, to be able to work while I also prepared for my own exams. But then I liked it so much, and there was so much learning and growth in the very first year that I ended up pushing my plans a bit. And in 3 years, I was heading marketing for the Bangalore region, had great experience growing the business in terms of not just the number of offices in Bangalore, but also the number of colleges that we served. So that was my initial exposure to understanding how students look at different competitions, different career options, and the kind of gap that you would see in the market, because you're closely working with students, and how their own decision making is not completely informed. So that was an interesting experience, and that's also when I kind of understood that this is something that I would like to grow into, I would like to build my career in, and was fortunate to then build or leverage that foundation that I had. Beyond that, of course, I did my first master. So MIT was my second master's. My first master's was from ESSEC Business School, France. Returned from there and then started my own application coaching and career coaching company. So that's where I got to mentor a lot of professional students and individuals who were looking to grow in their career after college, after a few years of experience, so different stages of their lives. And we built a couple of verticals and organizations that would specialize in helping them with their career choices. But that was a lot around helping individuals and students navigate their master's journey. So because these were students mostly in college or post college, that is also when I kind of understood a interesting gap where there is a large counseling ecosystem out there, but then as counselors, one can only know so much because there are so many universities, so many programs, and there is no go-to platform where students can actually connect with and gain from first-hand experience or first-hand conversations about specific courses or or the universities. So that's where the idea of building a community kind of started building in. And while I was working on it, I understood how building a community, let's say, so we call it alumni now, but the core idea is, let's say, a LinkedIn for study abroad. Now, to build something like that, you would need strong tech, you would need strong understanding of scale and growth and operations. And of course, building community is a slow process, so you would need some amount of external funding. So there were a lot of questions and a lot of areas that I was not completely exposed to, even after being an entrepreneur for a few years. So that's where the idea of going back to school and going to a top school like MIT came in, and I was fortunate to be able to get in. The time at MIT also. So interestingly, I graduated and I didn't really apply for a job. I didn't really want to be in the US because the very idea of going there was to understand how I can build the community and build the ecosystem that I was looking to build in a more effective manner, in a more scalable manner. And MIT gave me great opportunities to be able to incubate the idea there. They even put in money in the idea to help it grow. The mentoring, the entire ecosystem that I was exposed to gave a lot of good boost to what I was looking to do. And beyond that, immediately I came back, and then I was able to then onboard a few co-founders, and was fortunate to get a very good team with whom we are now building alumni as well as GradCircle. So that's long story, long explanation to the journey that I've had, but then it's way beyond that.
Well, fantastic. Thanks for sharing that, and very beautifully you put together. And you weave the part about your learnings from IMS, and then your learnings from different experiences that you had. So, GradCircle and alumni, right? And I was looking at the GradCircle's website. You offer multiple programs, and I'm keen on learning more about them. How are these programs created, and how do these programs help students gain clarity over their career paths and develop real world skills before they go to college?
Right. And you're right. I mean, Grad Circle is something that we are very excited about at this point, because even having worked for so many years in this space, only when we started working with high school kids, we realized how beautiful it is and how fulfilling it is. Because when you work with slightly older or more mature individuals who are looking, I mean, they're also trying to answer similar questions, but they do have some understanding of what they want to do. They do have some exposure to the world, whereas work with a high school kid, and then they have so many factors that influence them, right from their parents to counselors to the internet to their friends, or probably just movies. So what we have is someone who is really looking to explore, really looking at that source that they can trust, and they probably don't end up getting the right resources or sources to be able to understand what they can do and how they can achieve what they would like to achieve. So that's where alumni also, the idea of alumni also got conceived, and even Grad Circle got conceived with the idea of building programs and communities that students can trust and gain authentic experiences and information. So while alumni is our community that imparts experiences that are authentic, Grad Circle is the platform where students are able to gain authentic experiences. So look at it as a community versus a set of experiences. Now, one of the experiential programs that Grad Circle has is the industry immersion internship. So what we understand is, of course, as high school students generally, to work with a Microsoft or a Google or an Amazon, or if they're exploring law, let's say an Amachan Mangaldas, or if they're exploring pharma or medicine, let's say to work with a Novartis. So these are best in class companies. They're doing great job. They are the most innovative organizations out there. And students in high schools mostly will not get an opportunity to work with these companies. So when they're looking at careers, when they're looking at what these organizations are doing, Till now, their only recourse was, probably read up about them, talk to someone who has worked there. But then we thought, why not, if not organization led, why not bring mentor led internships, mentor led programs to the students? So our internship program, our industry immersion program, what it does is we have a pool of 100 plus mentors from any career stream that a student would like to explore, be it architecture, law, medicine, psychology, science, AI, aerophysics, so anything that a student would like to explore. And then in that process, what they do is they work with a mentor from that field or that industry. And these are active mentors, so which means that these are not academicians. So if you are looking at exploring AI and what it does and how a business uses AI, or if it is something related to data science and how, let's say, a company like Unilever uses data science, so students actually get to do a project in that field, let's say it's data science or medicine or law, under the guidance of an active industry professional from that field. And these are mini projects that are simulated projects of what happens in real world scenario in these organizations. So, for example, if a student would like to explore, let's say, luxury and retail, they would work with a mentor from Dior, and they will actually do a project on launching a Korean cosmetics brand in India with the Indian nuances and pricing and market research and whatnot. So this is just one example, but any field that students want to explore, they actually do a project in that field. This helps them in a couple of ways. One, they get deeper understanding of the industry. They get a better understanding of the skill set required to work in that industry or that function. And they also kind of understand how to reach or what are the career possibilities in that field so that they can prepare themselves. Or sometimes students also realize that, oh, this field is not for me, and probably I need to look for something else, which also means that the program help them not make a wrong decision, which without this experience they may have committed to. So this is how the industry immersion program works, and we have a couple of other programs that we'd love to talk about. But yes, this is one way that students are benefiting from these experiences.
No, absolutely. Please talk about the other couple of programs as well. Would love to learn more. But this is fantastic. The industry immersion program, I think, uh, uh, it's like a it's like a tester before you get into it, before you get and let's say spend the next 4 years, 5 years, or maybe a decade into something first. Uh, uh, Gain a brief peek into what that career would look like. Yeah. So great, great.
Certainly. So of course, gain a sneak peek into what you're looking at and work closely with someone who has immersed themselves into that field for probably a decade or so. So a lot of insights. So this is the industry part, whereas there are a lot of students who are looking to explore academically, they're looking to explore different fields of study, or they just want to develop that research mindset or research orientation. So we also have high school level research programs which are again delivered by active PhD scholars, which means that if you want to explore something like automobile, astrophysics, biochemistry, or psychology, or just, I mean, one of our PhD mentors, for example, is themselves working on the field of in the field of management, where they're researching how the employee landscape is changing, because you can imagine a lot of companies build their employee and HR policies around with the assumption that most employees have a family to go back to, and then they, let's say, they have a crash in the office, they have health benefits, they have maternity benefits, but then let's also look at the fact that there are a lot of individuals, and a good percent of the employee pool is now single for a longer period of time. So a crash and a maternity benefit is not beneficial to them. So then are we redesigning the workforce benefits to match the single lifestyle of employees? So now this mentor is themselves researching on this topic, and a high school student to be able to understand the nuances of work benefits, understand the nuances of how a work environment kind of tries to enable employees to do better without really understanding their lifestyle. So these are topics that students would actually get to work on with the mentors who are themselves researchers, and they are exploring different topics in different areas. And students then not just get to learn about the topic, even if they don't end up pursuing that field as a career, they develop a research oriented mindset, they understand how to explore different topics further, and then they are able to build on that, or build on those skill sets going forward. So the high school level research program is again something that we have to specially help students develop that authentic experience of how a new field is explored. And then we are about to launch, and this is something that probably we are announcing on a public platform on your podcast for the first time, that we are about to launch India's largest high school hackathon, which is in collaboration with MIT. So students will actually get to participate in a competition at a national level, which will be designed by MIT, and of course they will get the opportunity to participate in the competition. But then it's not just a competition, because we understand not every student has the resources to build what the competition needs. So it will be a mentor challenge, which means we are not looking at students just winning or not winning. We are also looking at the fact that if you just participate in this competition, you go back with a lot of learning under a mentor from our pool of mentors. And then, of course, if you win, there are certain prizes. But if you don't win, you still go back with a lot of learning and a project that you can take pride in having built.
Wow. Congratulations, and thank you for announcing that here on my
Thanks, Devesh.
I'm honored. So yeah, looking forward to this new hackathon, and of course, looking forward to seeing how the research programs and your the industry exposure programs grow. So as you think about scaling, as you think about growing, what are some of the challenges that you foresee, and how do you plan to uh, ensure that we maintain the quality of the programs and attention to the individual students as the numbers grow?
Right. And then that's a very valid point to consider, because we know that there are programs out there where there are about 15, 20, 30 students sitting in a room, being given an experience which they probably can't completely benefit from because there's just too many of them. So all our internship programs are small group cohorts. So we have maximum 7 students in a cohort. And the idea is to, I mean, we could very well have it one-on-one or two-on-one, but then that's not how it works at work. So if you are in office, even if you're an intern, you get to work with 5 to 6 people. You get to, so team dynamics are important to learn, and the goal is to replicate that. And interestingly, there are enough number of students who come back to us and say, when we ask them what was your most important learning, they mentioned that the idea of working with a team, and especially a heterogeneous team, because they would have worked with teams in school which are fairly probably in the same class or same school. They would have met, and there would be a lot of facilitation because it's the same school. Here they get to work with schools. I mean, one student is from a Doon school, let's say, another is from an Indus school in Bangalore. So the idea of different cultures, different locations, and different schools, so students benefit a lot from the team dynamics. And this is possible only when these are smaller teams and not very large teams where students don't get to interact much. So that is something that we have taken care of, or we are particular about. And then in terms of in terms of student security, and in terms of how the programs are delivered, the fact that these are students, a lot of them under 18. So all the sessions are recorded, all the sessions are monitored. And I wouldn't call it a challenge. I mean, I think AI is helping a lot. So we are able to kind of monitor all the classes, what is being taught, what is the language being used, what is the curriculum being used. So everything is monitored, and students are able to then progress every week, and we are able to make that understand that progress. And at the end of the because it's a small group again, the mentor is able to understand the strengths and weaknesses of the students. So at the end of the program, they also get an industry skills report where they are evaluated on their problem solving skills, analytical skills, communication, teamwork, etc., which generally the students don't get to know about themselves in any other setup. So that's how we are looking at ensuring that the quality is maintained, and then the groups are small enough to not dilute the experience. Of course, there is enough use of technology to be able to scale in terms of mentor selection, project selection, and the research programs are of course one-on-one. But then otherwise, we are set for scale. There are in the last 3 months, if I have to look at the previous 3 months, there are 100 plus different schools kids, which means that the students from 100 plus different schools were able to benefit from these programs. So the spread is wide, and the students are finding us from everywhere, right from Mira to Patiala to Pondicherry, and students are able to then benefit from these programs. So we are looking at global scale gradually. But then, of course, India needs these programs so much that the first level of focus is India itself.
Fantastic. I think you've thought about the whole structure so well, and interestingly, you're talking about the reports and the different parameters that you talk about in the report. I would love to have a report for myself. Let's say on an industry. I mean, I love taking tests, and I love participating in those kind of competitive things. So it would be fun to sort of have a report done of maybe some of us together, just as a challenge or as a fun thing. So, Prashant, would you like to talk about a student's journey, and if you want to highlight some of the student success stories and how your programs, how was their experience and how the program, let's say, helped them uh, clear their doubts about the industry, or maybe help uh, pave a path for what they want to do in the future? Yeah.
Certainly, I mean, and the very idea of these programs is to give them those experiences where they are able to explore different careers and make informed decisions. So, if I were to think of students who benefited the most from this, were those who were actually confused. And I mean, if I were to look at my own times when I was in grade 10th, 11th, 12th, let's say, clearly there were friends who knew they would want to take up engineering, but then, the moment you go deeper, you realize, oh, there is this electronic engineering and mechanical engineering and computer science. And then you end up choosing a branch or a specialization based on your rank, which is not how it should be. So there were unfortunately not many tools and not many resources to understand the difference between an electronic engineering and mechanical engineering, for example, or what the career path would be. But these programs, and because students are now playing on a much larger canvas where the options are much larger compared to what were at our times. At this point, also the parents are very supportive with their kids so that they are able to explore different fields. So students really need to be sure of what decisions they are making. And one of our students, for example, he was very keen on exploring architecture as a career, but then his family was more keen on him exploring economics and the traditional path. And then and he was not inclined towards either. He was just genuinely looking to explore, and he did a project with us on design and sustainability with a practicing architect, and he did another project that was related to business and economics, and he enjoyed the business economics project so much, whereas the architecture project, while he loved working on the project, he also understood that the design tools and the design aptitude is something that he has not developed enough to be exploring it as a career. So he was fascinated by what architects do, but then probably his own skill sets didn't align with that career. So when he came back to us and told us that no, now he is more confident about what he wants to pursue after his high school, we were really happy that we were able to bring in that authenticity and that experience to his decision making. Where now, if he chooses something, it will be more researched than just what he thought might be good for him.
Wow, I think that's such an ideal scenario that before, let's say you love, you're passionate about something, and then you have all your mindset that no, I'm going to do this, and then all of a sudden you come across a program where you can test these two things, where one of those your parents want you to do, and then one which you are passionate about, and then you try both of those out, and eventually, I think either your parents figure out that no, you are better doing the other thing, or you figure out that no, this is what is something I would prefer doing. Um,
And either way, you are better off. So.
yeah, yes, absolutely. So, Prashant, we're almost coming towards the end of the session. I have two questions for you. First is, how can students get in touch with you and engage with your programs, high school students particularly? Yeah.
Right. So of course, we do a lot of school on-campus sessions to help students understand what different careers are about, or do one of these workshops where they are able to get hands-on experiences on different projects. So one way is for the schools to organize these workshops on campus for students. We also have our website mygradcircle.com, so students can explore these programs on the website. I'm also available on LinkedIn. So we are happy to connect, even if a student is not looking at any of the programs. The fact that we are in education, the fact that we love mentoring students, we are happy to have a conversation and help the student in any way we can. So these are the ways we can start a conversation and see where it goes.
Superb, fantastic. Thanks for sharing that. And my final question to you is, or sort of, I'm seeking one final piece of advice from you for students who are confused. How should they go about uh, deciding what they want to do?
This is, I mean, yes, in our entire effort and all the programs are designed towards that. And even with that, I would emphasize that it's completely okay to not know what you really want to do at this point. It's about exploring, it's about trying out. It's very possible that you try out something and it doesn't work out. And then the fact that you committed to it and learned something out of it will help you figure out. But unless you go out there and do things, one is not able to figure out what they want to do. I mean, I often refer to a book by Reid Hoffman, the founder of LinkedIn, which is called The Startup of You. And he compares an individual with a startup. I mean, as individuals, we often don't know exactly what we want to do. And even if we do, there's no guarantee that it'll work out. Very similar to how it shapes in a startup. But the success of a startup kind of builds on the fact that one is out there and trying out few things and then understanding what is working and what is not, and doubling down on what is working and kind of quickly moving ahead from or moving out of what is not working. So as individuals, we need to continuously do that, especially in the age of AI, where the industries are changing fast, the markets are changing fast, and the needs of the markets are changing fast. So it's more about learnability. It's more about learning fast than knowing exactly where you will be in 5 years or 10 years, because you will be able to adapt if you have been able to develop the right skill set.
Superb. Wow. Thank you so much for such a fantastic advice, Prashant. It was such a pleasure having you with us today. Thank you for sharing, and thank you for doing all that you do.
Thanks, Devesh. It was a great opportunity to talk about what we are doing and the fact that we are passionate about it. And you are in the same field, so it's always a pleasure to share our experiences, learn from what you're doing, and the fact that more and more students are looking for these programs. We are excited how it's shaping, and thank you for giving us the opportunity to present what we're doing.
Superb. Thank you so much.